Welcome to the 5 Minute Life's Questions and Lessons podcast. I am your host, Charity Youngblood, and I am so grateful that you are here with me today. Let's get started with today's topic: how to respectfully say no. How to respectfully say no. So, I recently received a comment on one of our previous episodes, and I thought that this was a perfect topic to actually bring to the podcast. The question was the title, and it's just how to respectfully say no. And my first thought here was really to kind of think about just saying no with grace and compassion. But when I explored this a little bit further, I think there are some steps that could really help both. Anybody really who's dealing with this, because I know this is something that I've struggled with as well. So, one thing is just noticing using that term respectfully. So, a question that might help to explore is there a part of you that feels that saying no is disrespectful? Is there a part of you that feels that saying no is disrespectful? And the reason why this question is important is sometimes the answers are kind of in whatever it is that we're struggling with. So, thinking of how to say no respectfully, what that really could mean if you kind of flip it around is you think there's a part of you, either subconsciously or just you haven't really thought about, but some part of you might think saying no is disrespectful. So it's not necessarily the how to say no in a respectful way. It's a wait a second, do I think that it's disrespectful to say no? And if so, why? Right. So that's really what we're learning on this podcast. And really what I'm trying to teach is for you to ask yourself the right questions and be able to identify things that aren't really always on the surface, right? So that would be the first step, is really exploring that question. Is there a part of you that feels that saying no is disrespectful, right? And if so, why? Where does that belief come from? So if you kind of feel that saying no is disrespectful, where does that belief come from? Because if you're not a disrespectful person, you something is making you think that, right? It's probably not coming from you, but it's coming from somewhere. So we're just acknowledging kind of all these layers that lead us to hold the beliefs that we hold, right? And then after kind of whatever insights come from exploring those first kind of few questions, the action item, if you will really be just to craft a response that is as much as compassionate, right, as you can be, with as much grace as you can have for the other person, while reminding yourself, right, while reminding yourself that you have permission to put your needs first. This is so, so important. A lot of times we won't say no to something because we don't want to hurt the other person. Or in this case, maybe you think it's being disrespectful. And even though you don't want to do it, you need the rest, you don't have the capacity to do it, whatever the case may be, you have this barrier of, I have to be there for the other person instead or at the detriment of taking care of myself. And that is not true. That is absolutely not true. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy in the short term. It's not healthy in the long term. And that's really what this series is about, getting to the point where you can put your needs first and understand that you are allowed to treat your time with the respect that it deserves. You are allowed to treat your energy, your peace, all of the things that are important to you, your passions, etc., as important, as actual important aspects of your life, which is why you're saying no in the first place. So that's what I had on my heart today. I really, really hope this has been helpful for you. As always, please rate or review this podcast wherever you're listening to my words. And if this episode was helpful, please share it. And until next time, take care.